instilling the values of honesty, hard work, community, and respect, values that hold good to this day. In this debate and in the audience, I have my family, my 2 children, Wawira and Edward, my grandchildren, 4 of them, my brothers and sisters, some of them, others are online. I represent the Azimio hope for this country. Azimio, together with Kenyans of goodwill, is out to rescue this country from the stranglehold of corruption cartels. This country can't breathe. We cannot get the services that people do require because monies intended for public service are going into the pockets of corruption cartels, who then become instant millionaires with huge bank balances. We intend to help this country, to help citizens get their country back, and all the resources of this country will be utilized for the best interest of the entire nation, not a select few. I am here to discuss those issues, and I am glad that my opponent is also talking of issues, which is what we have been calling for in our campaign. I'm able, ready, and willing.
Thank you very much, candidates, for your opening statements. Let's introduce the elephant in the room and start this debate. The question of the deputy president. It has dominated public consciousness in the last 5 years. I'll start with you, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. What kind of a deputy president will you be? You have 2 minutes.
I come from a background of management. I have been in public service for 15 years. I've been in private sector for 15 years. I've been in legislation for 5 years. That gives a 35-year experience of public service and engaging with the people. I am a hard-working man. I'm very passionate. I have zeal to serve. I'm an active man. I wake up early. I don't take alcohol. I have all the time and the commitment to put my all to serve the people of Kenya. I have a very good idea of what I need to do to assist my candidate, Dr. William Ruto, in the management of the affairs of this country, give him backup, be available, move around the country to implement development programs, listen to the people, be available to the people, because we have the bottom-up economic model. It's about the people. If you have noted, we have gone around the country in all the 47 counties and held economic forums, listened to the people, had very extensive consultative process of what the people of Kenya want from us. And that informed our manifesto. And we were not surprised that critics were saying our manifesto is too detailed and meticulous. It had to be, because it had to capture the issues, the aspirations of the Kenyan people, what they want us to do for them. And our manifesto is a clear plan that is informed by what the people of Kenya want us to do for them, to dignify them, to improve their quality of life, and to give them a chance to prevail and be men and women of substance.
Thank you. Honorable Karua, the same question. What kind of a deputy president will you be?
I'll be a deputy president who is respectful of the Constitution, of the people of Kenya, of my principle, and a person who will obey the rule of law and do the best to support my captain to deliver for this country. The oath of office dictates that the interests of the public are paramount in everything a government does. I will help my captain to stick to the rule of law, to ensure that what is in the Constitution is fulfilled. Our Constitution dictates that we adopt a social market economy where social justice is in the forefront. That is why Article 57 Article 46, not 47, talks of socio-economic rights. You will notice that in our manifesto, we are talking about giving social support to those who cannot have any income, who do not at the moment have any income. And that's one way of fulfilling the promise of the Constitution and ensuring that Kenyans live in dignity, especially those who cannot afford the basics of life. I will therefore serve with honesty, and my track record speaks of that I have been a consistent public servant who does her work in the manner prescribed by the law, with honesty, with dedication. I will devote 100% to the people of Kenya.
All right. The question on the deputy president, it's public domain, that the current president and his deputy are reading from two different scripts. In the last 5 years, we've seen that effect in public domain. If that happens, what is your view? How should that be solved? How should that be sorted?
In my case and Dr. William Ruto, that will not happen. Both of us are strong-willed leaders who respect each other. None of us suffers from inferiority complex. At no time will William Ruto ever punish me or mistreat me because he has no reason to. I'll support him to be president, and he'll reciprocate that support. Between me and him, we are in agreement that we have no time to quarrel or disagree. We are inheriting a dilapidated country, a country that is on knees economically, a country that is facing an economic shutdown. We have no time for sideshows. We have no time for personal differences. We have no time for inferiority complex and competition that is unnecessary. We have a job to do. We are inheriting a 9 trillion debt. We are inheriting 6 million young people who have no jobs. 14 million Kenyans are in TRB. We have such a huge task ahead of us that it is unimaginable that Dr. William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua, would digress on personal issues and petty matters to disagree at all. Each of us has a job well cut out. I have already been assigned to work on the economy. I have gone around the country listening to the people of Kenya. I have been to each and every county, and I brought those views that informed our manifesto. Going forward on election, our job is well cut out from day one. We have to implement our plan that is ready, and we have no time to disagree, to quarrel, to have different opinions. We are too busy to even imagine that we can disagree on any issue. We are brought together by a convergence that we need to serve the people of Kenya. And both of us love the people of Kenya and the ordinary people.
And Honorable Karua, as I come to you, at the beginning of the presidency now, as we have it in 2013, it would have been unimaginable that would be today witnessing the kind of fallout we are between the president and his deputy. So for you, how do you execute differently and ensure we do not see this kind of bad blood drawn out?
I think even when people have differences, because it is not possible for human beings to always think alike. That's why even our Constitution acknowledges diversity of opinion. It is imperative that all debates or disagreements or arguments on issues happen in-house, and what is brought to the public must be the result, the agreement on the positions. And I think I'm very well prepared, and I'll continue to pray and address my mind that, one, the overall leader is the president. I am the principal assistant. With that in mind, that I'm a delegate of the president and can be required to do any work to support the presidency and the administration, I'll be ready, and I am ready. I have served as a cabinet minister for 6.5 years. A cabinet minister is a delegate of the president. A deputy president is a first among equals within cabinet in being a delegate of the president. is not a different position. We will be able to moderate any differences of opinion on any issues and to focus on serving Kenyans and to be respectful to Kenyans. Arguing in public, calling each other names in public is not only a disgrace, it's also not respecting Kenyans who elected and put us in office.
Yeah.
So I will be very conscious. And I've been commenting on the current situation, which does not commend itself to anyone.
Would you then, perhaps going by the experience this country has gone through, in terms of the architecture of the Constitution, should we have a rethink, perhaps from an elective deputy president to an appointive one, so that if things do not work out for the sake of country, then the president has that latitude? 2 minutes.
Nothing wrong with the architecture of the Constitution, something wrong with our behavior. It is not that we need to amend to prescribe the relationship between the president and a deputy president. It is that we need to change our behavior, differ with respect, maintain deference for people who are above us, that even when you differ, the way you address them is in a way that tomorrow you can be able to once again sit and work together. And when it comes to my opponent saying that their manifesto or their plan was discussed by Kenyans, I want to remind Kenyans, Azimio was a product of a robust discussion, way ahead of anything our opponents have done. And my captain went around the country and he got Kenyans to express themselves, and that's how Azimio was born. That's how the agenda, the manifesto, was born. Consultative process as prescribed by the Constitution. We intend to continue with consultations, even in governance, because public participation is deeply embedded in the Constitution, which my principal and I fought so hard to put in place.
All right. Honorable Guy, the same question. Supposing this were to happen, we've seen before and it's been part of our history, people call themselves brothers and friends and then they have a fallout. Supposing this were to happen, would you think it would be possible and great for us to have the deputy president be an appointive position so that the president has the leeway essentially to fire you?
That is a hypothesis. I like to look at life from a positive perspective. I always look at a glass as half full, not half empty. I have no doubt in my mind that we are a formidable pair. We are a pair that has been brought together by a common convergence to serve the people of Kenya, to spearhead, chaperone, and implement the third liberation. That is the economic liberation for the people of Kenya. And what has brought us together is so important that no sideshows can come in between. The focus that is before us, the need to restore the dignity of the Kenyan people, is such an important aspect of our lives, of our leadership, that it is incomprehensible that we could think of having sideshows and things that are necessary. And by the way, the situation between President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto has not been brought because of ideological differences. It has been brought because of an inferiority complex.
Right.
People must allow strong leaders to prevail. And you shouldn't have a problem when your deputy is strong and sharp and focused. You should just be able to accommodate him and use that as a strength to serve the people of Kenya. Had President Uhuru Kenyatta, in a second term, allowed William Ruto to help him manage the affairs of this country, we will not be where we are today, where Kenyans have no food, where unga is at 250 shillings, that they have to run around to look for a package to try to deal with it to save this election on their part. If he had allowed Dr. William Ruto to help him like in the first term, all the stored projects will be going on. He should have used the strength of William Ruto and harness it and use it to augment his leadership and to strengthen it for the benefit of the people of Kenya.
However, Honorable Rigathi, just quickly to follow up on that, we have seen Martha Karua in 2009, it was, resign after they disagreed with the president as a minister. You saw the former deputy governor Nairobi, when they could not work with a governor, again, resign. So isn't it on principle that those who push for, if it doesn't work out?
I don't think it is honorable to be a quitter. I think you must fight from within and pursue what you intended to do. When the Nairobi deputy governor quit, he left a vacuum in Nairobi, and that allowed President Uhuru Kenyatta to bring the military into the city. You know, because if he was there, the mess in Nairobi will not be. You cannot be a quitter. You must fight on. My sister, Martha Karua, quit President Mwai Kibaki's government when Kibaki needed him, when Kibaki was in trouble, when Raila Odinga was making life impossible for him. Mwai Kibaki needed Martha Karua. And at a time when Martha Karua needed to assist Mwai Kibaki, she quit. Mwai Kibaki is and has been the gentleman of Kenyan's politics, an amiable old man, a good man, a respectable man, a man who was listening to everybody. Any leader who could not work with Mwai Kibaki, I have serious doubt that leader can work with anybody else.
Just a quick reminder to the audience. In the auditorium, we did agree to a set of rules. Silence, please. No laughing, cheering, jeering. Let's just follow the conversation to allow us to have civil engagement and for understanding and hearing every of the candidates as they articulate their thoughts.
Thank you very much, Martha Karua. Response?
For those who do not understand principle, they can never envisage resigning. But I do think it is dishonest to continue to take public salary, to take the privilege and all that goes with office when you know you can no longer deliver, either because of differences or because of other things. I respectively withdrew myself by resignation from Mwai Kibaki's government in a respectful manner, no name calling, such that we were able to continue when we meet to sit down and talk. I don't think the same can be said of Mr. Gashagua's principle. Entertaining disagreement outside government and publicly is disruptive. No wonder the government in which Mr. Gashagua's principle serves is unable to fight corruption because it's pulling in two different directions. That is why we have a paralysis today.
Honorable Martha Karua, the question on just what happens if you disagree with your principle and if your principle should have the right to essentially let you go, should we relook at that?
I think the way the Constitution is, you disagree in-house, you resolve it. I do not think there is anything that cannot be resolved unless if it's something that is unconstitutional, that is being demanded of me. I will remember the oath, my oath under the Constitution, that there are things, if they are outrightly illegal, I certainly cannot be party to. But happily, my principle is a believer in the rule of law and constitutionalism. And he is also a man who views everything through the lens of social justice. That is why we have a dignity package for those who cannot afford meals on their table. That is why we have Babacare to rescue Kenyans from lack of access to medical services. If you look at our agenda, you will see that this is an agenda that talks of the socio-economic rights of Kenyans, an inclusive agenda that has every Kenyan, whether poor or rich, as demanded by our Constitution. So I cannot stand here and honestly say that we shall have the same position on all things. That never happened, not even in Mwai Kibaki's government. But in 6.5 years which I served, I never publicly berated the government that I served or the president that I served. I just said my hands were tied and I withdrew. My principle differed with Mwai Kibaki, but all he said to the public is that I was not consulted. How they went back room and resolved, we never know. We only know they came out with a unanimous decision. That is what people who have respect for the public do. People who have respect for their offices do. But holding an office while not serving is dishonesty.
Honorable Gachagua, this same question, I realized you didn't respond the last time. Should this position of deputy president be an appointive position?
No. In fact, the framers of the Constitution were very clear that a deputy president needed to enjoy mandate directly from the people. Why Azimio cannot push William Ruto to resign is because William Ruto is not an appointee of President Uhuru Kenyatta. He is elected by the people of Kenya. If it was the previous constitution, William Ruto would have been sacked a long time ago and replaced with Gideon Moi. And that was the plan. The plan was to provoke him, intimidate him, humiliate him, persecute him and his friends and his allies so that he could quit government and allow President Uhuru Kenyatta to appoint somebody from a family that they share the same issues and the same values. But because William Ruto was elected, he was able to hold on to his position. And he continued serving the people of Kenya when he was assigned duties by the president. The duty he has been allocated all the time without failure is to welcome the president and the Nyayo National Stadium. And he has done it in style because that is the duty he has been allocated. He has gone ahead to chair IBEC because that one the president cannot deny him. It is there in the PMF Act. There's nothing the president would have done. But the president chose not to allocate him duties. And the president has been crying that since he did not allocate him duties, his government has come to a halt. And nothing is going on. But he made a bet, he must lie on it. If you decide to chase your deputy away, a man who works hard, a man who knows what he's doing, and replace him with your friends, and then the country comes to a halt, you cannot go ahead crying that you have nobody to help you. He made that decision for his own reason. He wanted to push Ruto out, but Dr. Ruto stayed on because he enjoys a mandate from the people of Kenya.
All right, Honorable Gachagua, Honorable Karua, I want us to move to the next topic this evening, leadership and integrity, fitness to hold office. I will begin with you, Honorable Karua. And in 2013, when you vied for presidency, you said, I do not share any values with the Prime Minister, then Raila Odinga, nor do I share his politics. Both he and the late Kibaki have been unable to root out corruption within their ranks. What has changed now that you're deputizing him?
Indeed, the coalition government was unable to root out corruption in the second half. And I said so publicly many times. Raila Odinga was a presidential candidate in 2013. I too was a presidential candidate. My statement that they were unable to fight corruption did not indicate they are the ones individually perpetuating corruption. It meant there was corruption in government which they failed to act on. I believe that a combined ticket of Raila Odinga, Martha Karua will do the best to fight corruption. I resigned on principle because one of the things I felt let down on is the failure to tackle issues of graft. Raila was a prime minister, a co-principal, the late President Kibaki was the first among equals as the president. Whatever dynamics, I do not know of. But it is recalled that shortly after that election, I worked with Raila. Na Kenya and I were friends of NASA, not NASA, of CORD. And we worked together until 2017 when I decided to run for governor and supported Jubilee. We have been able to work together, have a history of working together in our 30 years of being in active politics, and I know that his policies align with mine. I did mention that we both view our actions through the lens of social justice, and that is what has drawn me to work with him.
Just a quick 1 minute, I will add you on your time that when you said I do not share any values, you've addressed the issue of corruption and graft, but you do not share any values and even agree on his brand of politics. What do you say to that? Because values, this is...
As of that time, I felt I did not share anything with him. And remember, we were candidates. there is no way you will praise the other candidate. But I can assure you that it is not because I thought he personally was responsible for any wrongdoing, nor did I feel that President Kibaki was personally responsible. But there were rogues within government they failed to act on. And I felt my hands were tied in the performance of my duties. And therefore, as I campaigned for myself, I actually was saying, look, you've been unable to fight corruption, just like the Jubilee administration under President Uhuru Kenyatta and Dr. William Ruto. And they are still in government together up to now. And we saw Dr. Ruto attending cabinet a week ago. They've been unable to fight corruption. You can't hold one side of government and say the good one is mine and the bad one belongs to the other person. That's doublespeak.
Honorable Gachagua, just
Sophia,
moments.
I think Honorable Mother needs to come through to the people of Kenya on being consistent. Honorable Mother is on record saying that Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta should retire together. Not a long time ago. She seems to have changed her mind that they shouldn't retire together. In fact, that President Uhuru Kenyatta should continue governing through proxy and Raila Odinga should purport to govern as a proxy of Uhuru Kenyatta. At what time did she change her mind? Because it's on record she went public to say that the two of them should retire together. Now, she is the running mate of Raila Odinga. She's a project of Uhuru Kenyatta. The two people she said they should retire together. She seems to have changed her mind. And it is my considered opinion, and I believe for many Kenyans, that being consistent is very important in leadership, especially the position she aspires. You need to be, when you say this today, you must be able to live to it tomorrow.
All right.
All
right. I want to allow Martha to respond, but first I want to come back to you to give you another minute. A moment ago, you said that Gideon Moi was supposed to be appointed. I want you to clear that up because, with all fairness, Gideon Moi is not on this debate.
Well, President Uhuru Kenyatta, the chairman of Azimio, in a meeting in State House a week ago, said that he nominated Martha Karua as his running mate to take care of his interests and that of his family. The president was on record, which means of the chairman of Azimio, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and they are both proxies with Raila Odinga. It is not me who said, it's President Uhuru Kenyatta who said. And previously, I thought that Honorable Mother had been nominated as running mate by Raila Odinga. But here comes President Uhuru Kenyatta, outgoing president, chairman of Azimio, a man who has said he's going nowhere, he's going to be around. He'll be ruling from home. He'll be consorting his project from home. He'll be continuing to govern the people of Kenya. I simply do not understand. Is Martha Karua, the honorable member, is she the deputy? Is she the running mate of Raila Odinga, the project, or is she the running mate of Uhuru Kenyatta, the project master? Okay. She's who's running mate?
Okay, Martha Karua is in the building.
It is true that both I and my captains are projects, but projects of the people of Kenya, whom my captain consulted, and by public demand, he was called upon to take leadership. At a time our country desperately needs leadership. He has offered leadership, and I was competitively selected. And like my friend who was handpicked, I faced an interviewing panel, and also through demands of Kenyans and many endorsements, I was selected. Kenyans know I'm competent.